I'm Captain Christy Wise, USAFA 2009. I'm an HC-130J pilot. 3 years ago, so 2015, while I was in the Gulf Coast for the weekend with my friends doing a scuba diving class, I was paddleboarding and I was hit by a hit-and-run boat driver and lost my right leg above the knee. I remember the boat coming at me. I remember diving off my board to get away from it. I actually was hit in the shoulder with the boat, the front of the boat. And the first miracle was I pushed off the bottom of the boat and I swam down. Otherwise, my entire body was going through the propeller, but because I swam down, it only got my right leg. So it didn't hurt till about 40 minutes later, and then it really hurt. Through the incident, I ended up losing about 65% of my blood in 3 minutes. I was with a friend. He was a helicopter pilot, and he actually put a tourniquet on my leg in the water with his t-shirt, and then a fishing boat, not the one that hit me, but another boat saw it happen and came and got me in the back of the boat, and they finished the tourniquet with a fishing net handle. And so I'm only alive today because of that and a couple other things that happened. So I'm really happy to be here still. So I started an 8-month-long process of rehabilitation there. But I was right next to Rangers who were getting back to duty with missing legs, and 2 of my buddies are the first PJs to get back to duty. So I was surrounded by this amazing military community that was all, going for it, not letting any of it slow us down. The hardest part for me, I think, was just patience. I mean, from the beginning, I always knew that I was going to get back to flying. I think it just took longer at times than I wanted it to. Those were the hardest times, where I didn't seem to be making any progress towards getting back to flying. And then, of course, like anything in the Air Force, I was ready to fly 8 months later, and then the Air Force paperwork process started, and that took a lot longer than I wanted it to. So I was in Brooks Army Medical Center, and I was rehabbing, and one of the Air Force coaches happened to come in. She was an amputee as well, getting one of her legs fixed, and she saw me working out and came over and kind of recruited me on the spot and said, "Hey, have you ever heard of Warrior Games?" I went from being this busy pilot to just rehab. That's all I had every day. So then all of a sudden I was training for these new sports, and then I show up in Quantico, Virginia, and I'm around 300 other amputees and military members in wheelchairs, and they're all doing amazing things. So that was just such an encouragement. I couldn't even walk yet, and here's this guy running, and he's missing 2 legs. So that was amazing. So I have a twin sister. She is a doctor, and she spent a lot of my recovery with me. We are actually able to get her a job at the military hospital where I was doing my rehab, which was absolutely amazing. We just had an overwhelming amount of support, more than I could ever imagine. So we said, we probably should do something with all this support. And that's when we decided to start a nonprofit organization. And we decided to go to Haiti because my sister actually knew kids in Haiti that had lost limbs in the earthquake. And so we decided that would be our population. That's who we would reach out to. So the name of my nonprofit is One Leg Up on Life. We've gotten about 30 to 40 full new prosthetic legs, and many more of that we've just fixed or repaired. And I've personally taught 3 kids how to run, which is one of my passions. So having those kids, they're definitely my new motivation. Going down there, running with them, hanging out with them. So I'm the 6th Air Force amputee to return to flying. There are 5 others. And within the first 2 or 3 days in the hospital, all 5 of them called me. Ryan McGuire and the other amputees ahead of me, they helped me. And since I've been an amputee only 3 years, we've had several, like 3 or 4 in the past 3 years that have contacted me that got amputations and are trying to get back to duty and looking for guidance. So that's really cool to help them and say, hey, here's what you need to do for your medical board. Here's how to run. Here's how to pass your PT test. So I always felt like I was part of the long blue line. That is hands down true, and I feel like this just illustrated that to the 10th degree. It just brought it all to the forefront and showed me what does that actually look like practically. And it looks like so many people bringing you food and blankets and stuff in the hospital. So I just expect great things from the Air Force now in general, and the flying community and myself. I've really been kind of pushed to the edge, and I realize I can accomplish so much more than I think I can. I'm basically back to normal, back to life. I'm a flight commander in my squadron now. I'm in the middle of my upgrade to the next aircraft commander, which is the left seat instead of the right seat in our C-130, prepping for a possible deployment. So pretty much back to normal, mostly back to normal, although some days I always am gonna have a fake leg. So the hardest part for me when I'm flying is honestly walking a mile from my squadron to the plane with all my gear. It's one of the hardest things I do. I value every day so much more now that I, almost wasn't here anymore. I was 30 seconds away from bleeding out in the water. And I'm just so happy to be alive. I'm so happy to be back to my job, back to what I love in the Air Force, in this community. And that has taught me just to expect great things from myself and others and the Air Force.